am the Irish guy, and I'm gonna say this. You might not like it. You might think that I'm speaking with all the intelligence of an illiterate orc, but I don't know who this Arsenal team is. I don't recognize who they are, because if we are just judging football teams on calendar years, then so far, this Arsenal team in 2024 is the best team in Premier League history. If we are just judging teams based on what they've done between January and December, then so far, if the Gunners keep this up, I'll go a step further. They're the best team I've ever seen in world football. I mean, don't get me wrong, in calendar years, Liverpool in 2019, arguably the best. But this Arsenal team is scarier than they ever were. Imagine saying that after their horrible Christmas, when each and every one of those players were performing like overweight pigs. Even Declan Rice was getting stick. This Gunners team in 2024, 7 league games. Their aggregate score, 31-3. Not even the Invincibles were ever as scary, ruthless, and devastating as that. I mean, yeah, their longest winning streak during an unbeaten 03-04 season was 9 games between the 10th of January and the 20th of March. But the aggregate score, 21-6. Yeah, it's good, but it's not this type of cartoonish ridiculousness. Grinding out 1-goal wins over Charlton and Bolton wasn't exactly going to get anyone choking on their soup, but this is almost barbaric. The Invincibles team scored 73 goals in that league season. This Gunners team are just 5 goals behind that with 11 games left. And not only is there not a Thierry Henry in sight, but they don't even have a striker apparently. Honestly, midway through the season, Arsenal fans were screaming for a banned Brentford striker to save their club. That Christmas declaration now makes about as much sense as the success of JLS. They all just sounded like frogs burping into the mic. Arsenal fans are dreaming of the Premier League title. I mean, they should be. If any scared little Gunners fan is playing down this title challenge, then to quote the bloke whose statue you have outside your ground, then it's a fear of failure. Said it with a bit more of a French flavor. Oh, by the way, lads, if you're new here, try to get to 200,000 subscribers. I can almost smell it. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, you absolute bunch of legends. Anyway, back in the video. Lads, this is the most delicious title race I've ever witnessed in my life, because all 3 clubs are hungrier than a dwarf who can't reach the oven in his house. I mean, Liverpool were denied a proper Premier League title parade in 2020, instead of just having to do fist bumps on the couch. 30 years of waiting for a league title, and they just had to make do with hugging the dog and maybe begging the postman for a kiss. And Man City are hungry to make history by being the first ever English team to do a historic 4 league titles in a row. I mean, plenty have done 3 in a row, like Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal in the 30s. Their manager died from pneumonia midway through the 3rd season. But that was a bit of a buzzkill for the team bus parade. Huddersfield Town even completed 3 league titles in a row, finishing that off under manager Cecil Potter. I mean, he completed a historic 3 league titles in a row, and yet there's still less words on his Wikipedia page than on the back of a Freddo wrapper. And finally, Arsenal, May 2024 is shockingly the 20th anniversary of their last Premier League title. They have not won a Premier League title since the last time The Simpsons made a good episode. Yeah, I saw them do a 3D Toy Story parody. It was about as much fun as watching a dog lick its own groin. Lads, Bukayo Saka was 3 years of age and probably struggling to walk the last time Arsenal were champions of England. So that is a hungry fan base too. By the way, when talking about 4 league titles in a row, put some respect on Sir Alex Ferguson. If VAR had existed 14 years ago, then Drogba's winning goal at Old Trafford would have been chalked off for offside in April 2010. So they wouldn't have lost the league to Chelsea by a point. And instead, I mean, considering they won it again in 2011, that means Fergie would have won 5 Premier League titles in a row. Lads, if VAR had spoiled the Drogba goal, if Sergio Aguero had slipped against QPR, then Sir Alex Ferguson would have bowed out, having won 7 Premier Leagues in a row. What? But lads, 6-0. 6-0. Arsenal are terrifying. Don't get it wrong, Sheffield United are an absolute disgrace. This was the 4th consecutive home match in a row where they have conceded 5 goals. No wonder their fans were walking out after 15 minutes. Lads, Derby County are the worst ever team in Premier League history, with 11 pathetic points. They conceded 89 goals that season, the most ever conceded in a 38-game Premier League campaign. That was absolute garbage. The Blades have conceded 72 so far. At the rate they're imploding, they will concede more goals than that horrible Derby side. Poor old Chris Wilder. They've been even worse since he took the job. 5 years ago, Sheffield United beat Arsenal 1-0, and he would finish the season 9th in the league, just 2 points behind Arteta. If you gave Sheffield United 12 more points now, they would just about briefly escape the relegation zone for about a week. Yeah, give the Blades 12 more points in the summer of 2020, and they would have qualified for the Champions League instead of Chelsea. You know, the team who won the competition the next year. year, Wilder's stock was never higher, but now it's in the same muddy bin bag as Deontay Wilder, especially after failures at Watford and Middlesbrough recently. He won't even get a championship job after this. Gary Monk was just given a horribly depressing gig at Cambridge United this week. So forget the match of the day theme tune, Chris. That's where your future's heading now. Mikel Arteta is amazing. And this is why Arsenal fans should be excited. We all disrespected this man. All of us. When Arteta retired from playing, I don't think anybody realised what an absolute coaching gem he was going to be. Well, I mean, 3 clubs did. He had offers from Arsenal, Manchester City, and weirdly, Spurs. The last one, purely because he used to play with Pochettino at PSG. I mean, I guess. And Pep knew him from his time when he was a kid at Barcelona in the 90s. To be fair, Guardiola was the reason Arteta couldn't get in the Barca team. And yes, within a few years, Pep would be a washed up cabbage, begging for short-term deals at Bolton and Wigan. Lads, putting a genius football brain like Guardiola into a dressing room with Jimmy Bullard, who no doubt spent every coaching team talk just sitting in the corner, smearing chocolate muffins into his hair for attention. Although, to be fair, if Paul Jewell had been Guardiola's boss, then his son would probably now work for Man City. You know, the 34-year-old Brighton head of recruitment, who Chelsea are willing to pay £20 million for. But Arteta was coaching gold in 2016. It's just, we didn't really know it. There was no scramble for his signature. Arteta would have been a perfect Tottenham backroom coach. But to be fair, was this really them seeing true genius in his eyes? Because Spurs don't seem all that fussy when it comes to job interviews. Crazy, a couple of years ago, they had Yaya Toure as a coach. Don't get me wrong, a fabulous world-class player. But the Toure brothers clearly have about as much coaching ability as a box of dead cats. Okay, maybe I'm being harsh. Yes, Colo was chewed up and spat out like a wet sausage roll during his 9 games in charge of Wigan, but Yaya is actually on Roberto Mancini's backroom team in Saudi, where Arteta was and is a coaching mastermind. And him choosing to work with Pep at Manchester City, that was incredible. Soaking up the absolute football genius as his number 2. It was beautiful. It's molded him into one of the best young coaches on the planet. But lads, when Arteta took the Arsenal job, I will be honest, I thought it was a joke, because it seemed like Arsenal were trying to be too clever for their own good. Because yeah, they were sniffing around the Manchester City number 2, but they were also sniffing around the assistant coaches at Man United and Liverpool. Remember Zelko Bruvac was supposed to be the brains behind Klopp, and once he left they would implode? The brain of football. All I see when I look at Bruvac is the guy who cheated on his wife in Love Actually. He looks like someone who's got the word always tattooed on his thigh. The Potter geeks will love that one. I mean, Faria was Jose Mourinho's assistant for 17 years. He tries to go out and make it on his own and gets sacked as the manager of Al Duhail and hasn't worked in 4 years. I thought Arteta was going to be another Buvac, another Faria, just a bit of a joke. But no, he was and is a coaching mastermind. It was only 3 years ago that Jamie O'Hara was saying on the radio that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a better manager than Arteta.
There's one big problem, the manager. O'Hara told Talksport Breakfast, he's not good enough, he's got to go. It's a myth how he's still in the job. He's going to be the first manager to get the sack.
Jamie O'Hara. For those of you who want a small window into the football IQ of the man, take a look at this.
Well, I was signing for Burton Albion. That move was happening. I actually interviewed the manager. Is it Brian Clough or Nigel Clough? One of them, the younger one. Nigel.
Yes. He really had to be told that Brian Clough was not the manager of Burton Albion in 2016. I think we can now all confirm that he has got the ball knowledge of a Football Daily creep. Sorry, that was mean. Well, lads, at the minute, Arteta looks like he hates Newcastle with a burning passion. After the Anthony Gordon goal in December, he now likes that football club about as much as he likes smearing Teletubby sick on his face. But back in 2019, they offered him the chance to replace Rafa Benitez as manager. Putting him on the desperate Newcastle United shortlist was an insult to the man's work. Mike Ashley even considering giving Arteta a ring. Wow, how cheeky can you get? It's a bit like me deciding to bring up Matt Damon and asking him to bring me a pizza from town, as if he's got nothing better to do. When Arteta received that call, he probably assumed that Ashley had dialed the wrong number.
Sorry, this is the Arteta household? We don't sell donuts here?
Look, I'm not saying that Newcastle is not a brilliant club. It is. But the opportunity to become a manager there in 2019, that was about as tantalizing an offer as being offered the chance to get up at 4 a.m. to sweep dead donkeys off the road.
I was considering a situation at Newcastle United in the summer that could change my professional and personal life. I had to put everything on the table to make that decision. I made the decision to stay where I was, Manchester City at the time. I believe that Newcastle are happy.
Happy? Happy? What part of Newcastle looked happy? They appointed Steve Bruce. They had to endure an embarrassing summer where they were knocked back by Patrick Vieira, Steven Gerrard. Ashley was even asking Sam Allardyce to take the job. You know, the bloke who he already sacked as Newcastle boss 13 years before. When that greasy behemoth was rejecting the chance to replace his enemy at a top Premier League club, someone who would soon be so desperate for a gig that he would then sign up for 6 months at West Brom and a month at Leeds. That kind of shows you how much of a mess Newcastle were. It shows the importance of a new manager getting the first job right, because I can promise you, if a talented rookie like Arteta Arteta had been unveiled at St James's Park and being told to implement his devastating, attractive Bielsa brand of football with players less talented than chocolate teddy bears, it wouldn't have gone well. Imagine Arteta trying to make magic out of mud with the likes of Danny Rose, Nabil Bentaleb and Andy Carroll. He would probably sooner ram a sword up his nose. Well lads, here's why Arsenal fans should be really excited. Arteta's career has been intertwined with Xabi Alonso since childhood. They were childhood buddies back in Spain, back when Arteta looked like a cartoon rabbit. Honestly, is that not the face of the Spanish book Bunny? While Alonso looks like he goes around Hugh Grant's flat after school to escape the bullies who want to steal his shoes. But to me, I have noticed a weird pattern with these two. These guys are friends, but they've always had an identical summer in terms of emotions. They were childhood teammates in the Basque Country's academy, Antiguoco, but they never actually played together at men's level. Not even with Spain. There is no further proof of how sparkling, how impossible that Spain golden generation was, and the fact that Arteta, someone so good. I remember he was getting outside Real Madrid transfer links back when he was at Everton. He never received a single Spanish cap. Things were getting so bonkers that he was actually considering trying to play for England at Euro 2012. But Alonso and Arteta, they have always achieved success and disappointment at the exact same moments in their careers. In the summer of 2003, Arteta had just helped Rangers win a treble in his debut season at Ibrox. Alonso had helped Real Sociedad shock the world by finishing second in La Liga. I mean, they finished 13th the year before. You don't understand. They finished just 2 points behind Real Madrid, the Galacticos. It was nearly a monumental shock title win. It seems harsh, but Rafa Benitez helped Valencia win a league title the next year and was rewarded with a star-studded, elite CV, coaching the biggest clubs in the world. Yeah, Sociedad nearly won the Liga with French manager Reynaud Bonnieu, and nobody has heard from him since. I assumed he'd been hit by a taxi or something, and that he was now being chewed by worms in a grave, but no. He is still alive and well, and yet nobody has probably asked him for a selfie in close to 20 years. What's he doing? Just frequenting the same boring coffee shop every morning, nibbling on a croissant and chatting to the mice? But look, both Arteta and Alonso then had disappointing seasons. Sociedad finished up their title run by putting a Leicester, nearly getting relegated in 15th, while Rangers unforgivably went completely trophyless. Both Spaniards were probably crying down the phone to each other in May. Both Arteta and Alonso then moved to the city of Liverpool together in the summer of 2004, and it couldn't have gone better. Everton, who had just finished 17th the season before, they then qualified for the Champions League in Arteta's debut year, while Alonso helps Liverpool win the Champions League. They both embark on a solid, quality few years for both Everton and Liverpool, but again, their disappointment happened at the same time too. Liverpool lost the Premier League title race to Man United in 2009. The same month, Everton lost an FA Cup final to Chelsea. Alonso wins the second Champions League of his career and his first at Real Madrid in 2014, while Arteta captained Arsenal to an FA Cup, their first trophy for 9 years. And lads, last season, Alonso came so close to winning the Europa League with Leverkusen, and Arteta came just as close to winning the Premier League. And it's no fluke now that Alonso is flying high at the top of the Bundesliga, whilst Arteta has created one of the scariest Premier League teams we've ever seen. Honestly, if Alonso wins the Bundesliga this season, then judging by their twinned careers, surely that means Arteta is winning the Premier League too, right? Now, this Arsenal team is scary, yeah, but I can just see Man City doing 4 in a row. They are that good. I think they are winning the thing. I'm sorry, but no manager in Premier League history has proved me quite as wrong as Arteta. This man is not just a good manager. He is an amazing manager. Truly world class. So much better than anyone thought. Wow. And with that, Steve, what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? All right, are Arsenal going to win the league? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like, subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.